Hello everybody, welcome to a new tutorial from Sound for More. It's Leo speaking. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Phasor node inside the Synth node category. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, before I start, I would like to point out that you really need to know something about math, in particularly the constant pi, which is related, as it says here in Wikipedia, to the ratio of a circle's circumference, and is mathematical value, which is 3.14. Okay, and also what you should get familiar with, unless you already know, is how to use sine and cosine trigonometric function and their relation to the pi constant, i.e. in particularly when you put half pi into the sine function, you have a value of 1. When it is when you put 0 inside the sine, you have a 0 value up here in the graph. When you put the entire value of pi through the sine function, you get 0 as well. So you need to know the relationship between sine and the pi mathematical function. With that being said, let's start to drag and drop the Phasor node. Let's double click to zoom it up. You can see two input nodes, a frequency and a resync. A resync is just, it will start resyncing from the beginning, the production of that waveform, and an output, of course. Let's select it and let's go to the inspector. As you can see, the help says it's a simple Sawtooth ramp oscillator. It's very simple, but it's also very, very powerful. The guideline is not to use it to produce audio unless you want bad aliasing, but there is a way also to remove that, which I will show you in a future tutorial. But of course you can use it to generate, for example, LFOs, which is very good at it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to set the frequency. And in order to do that, let's go to the math category and drag and drop an expression node, and let's connect that to the input of frequency. And the reason for that is that again, go to the expression node and then set a value. And let's set a value which is very slow at the moment, because I want to show you the output of that of the ramp oscillator very slowly, not very fast. So let's go to the meter. We have seen in previous tutorial how to use the value node. So let's try that again. You can see it's moving up to 6 point something, which means it goes from 0 to 2 times the value of pi, because pi is 3.14, etc. So 2 times the constant pi. Another way to look at it, so is let's remove the value node. Let's drag and drop the meter. Let's connect it. And as you can see, it goes very quickly up to red, and it's staying red quite a lot. And the reason is because the meter measure has a range between 0 to 1, and the output here is 0 to 2 times pi. So what you could do, for example, to have a better visibility of that, is to add an expression node, like so. And the expression node, what you could do is take the input x, divide it by 2 times the constant pi, and close the parenthesis. In this way, if you redirect the output from the phasor to the expression node, and then the output from the expression node to the meter, you can see it goes from value of 0 to 1. Of course, the speed is dependent by the frequency set here by this expression node. Indeed, if you change that, let's move it up here, and let's reselect it, you will see it will increase the speed. 2, 3. So you can see straight away how the phasor works. Okay, let's put this back to 0.5 so we have a speed which allows to see the tutorial better. So let's select these two nodes and let's remove them. Okay, so now let's use also, let's go to the meter and let's show you how to use the waveform node, which shows you a waveform, but is again good to be used. It's a scrolling waveform display, as the inspector says, but it's good to be used again for low frequency. So if I take the output directly into the waveform, this is what happens. Again, it goes from, it has a range of 1. So if this is why you see it in this way. So again, to solve that problem, drag an expression node, go to the expression node and write a formula as before, x divided 2 times pi, like so. And do the relative connection, like so. And there you are. So it's go from 0 to 1. So now you can actively see that on the screen. Now let's move these to the left-hand side so we have more space, like so. So this practically is an inverted sawtooth, because you start from 0, and then as it goes up, it moves the wave to the right-hand side. That is why it comes out this way. Now, let's go to meter, and let's drag and drop another waveform, like so. Then what we're going to do, we're going to select this expression, we're going to copy it, and then we are going to paste it here, like so, but we are going to modify it, and we're going to invert it. So in order to invert it, we just put a 1 minus, and the formula that is there. And let's do the connections. And as you can see, it is the same formula that was there, but the value that is coming out from there is subtracted from the value 1. So when it is 1, it starts like that, and the value here would be 0. And as it increases, the difference will decrease, like so. And as it decreases, it moves to the right, and that is why it shows you the waveform in this way. Now, let's see other examples. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that it's good for you to know how to use the sine trigonometric function. So let's use it. So, and then new expression node. And the expression will be sine of x as an input. Another meter waveform node, like so. Let's make the connection. There it is, we have a sine. As you can see, it's much larger than the other two. So to solve that problem, let's select this node and modify and multiply that by 0.5. which is equivalent to divide that by 2. And as you can see, is half the size now. Now, it is center. I would like it to be at the top like the other two. Again, easy to fix. Let's add 0.5. There we are. So it moved up by 0.5. Okay, let's say that now we want to create a triangle function, which is very typical in synth, right? So let's drag another waveform node, like so. Another expression node. Okay. And actually, yeah, let's go in the expression node and we write a formula as before, like so. And you know already what this does, but let's do the necessary connection. This is practically what we have here on the very top form. Okay, so let's modify that expression. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 2. And this will become much bigger and it is outside the waveform display screen. Then next, what we are going to do is we are going to subtract that to 1. And as you can see, is moving down, and you can see is particularly now this waveform here, the inverted sawtooth or ramp that we have created on the second example, but enlarged by 2. Now, if there was a way to invert the negative value, which is below the center of the axis of the waveform vertically, to positive, I will have a triangle, and that is very simple to do. So I go to, again, the inspector, and I write abs for absolute, close, and now I have a triangle waveform. And now to prove that the display here, the waveform displays, doesn't work very well with high frequency, let's select the input expression node where we have the frequency, and let's say we set these to 110. As you can see, the display is not anymore what I expect. Right, but what that allows me to do is to test that this waveform actually works at a frequency 110. I could have done 440 for an A4, but I decided to actually keep it a low frequency so not to damage your ears as you listen to the tutorial. So let's add an output module, like so. And now let's make the volume down. Let's make only the connection to some of the channel. I don't want to make it to all the channel. Like so, and let's listen. Okay, so let's say that we take the other one, which is inverted. Not much difference, of course. This is the sine, which we created earlier. Sounds like a sine. And the last one is a triangle. And for this one, actually, I'm going to connect it to the left and right channel. Okay, so as you can see, this is a little bit, again, basics of synth and how to produce different waveforms. We saw how to produce Sawtooth, inverted Sawtooth, and also how to produce sine wave and how to produce triangle. By the way, if you wanted also to produce a pulse, again, go to the frequency. Let's lower it so we can see it, like so. Then let's add another waveform node, another expression node. Then in that expression node, what we're going to do is to say x is greater than pi. So when it's greater than pi, shows 1. Let's do the connection. There you are. You have a pulse or square depending on the position, because I can move it up and down, adding, for example, or subtracting a number like a 0.5, for example. And of course, let's connect it to the output. Change the frequency so it is audible. Oops. And that is your square waveform. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, see you next time. Bye.